Um, as y'all know, next month is going to be 1 year, and um, to say the very least, this has been a crazy year. I don't even think that's the correct term to say. Um, it's been hell. It's been hell. I'll be honest with you. It's been a lot of hell. Even now, I never thought that she would have passed away. I never thought she would have died. It didn't really make sense to me that it would happen. I'm not crazy. I know the possibility was there. She brought that to my attention. But even with that, it just didn't make any sense. So she always came back. No matter how sick she got, she always came back. And Jacques was amazingly strong throughout all this, even though she didn't think she was. She was strong. She had her moments of being weak, but it wasn't up here weak. It was everything else. It is hard to watch a loved one grow sick. It's hard to watch their body change. And it's hard to watch them still be who they are, just not be able to do all the things that they used to be able to do. And it's much worse because you feel that you should be able to make it okay, even though you know that you can't. I tried. I. She always told me that I took great care of her. She called me her hero. And many times I didn't feel like a hero to her. I felt like I didn't do enough. And y'all don't. What if? I should have done this. I should have done that. And the one thing I can honestly say, with a year almost being here, it's probably the worst thing I hate to hear from people. What I do not like to hear is it was God's will. Because if you know the inside story, I don't know. It just don't seem like it would be God's will like that. Because in many ways, the medical system just did not do their job. And looking at this, I talking to other people, you hear the stories about their families and their losses, and the suffering that they're going through. And it was the same thing, the medical system. Um, you feel like you could have caused it. Also, because they had to check me for cancer, and I was supposed to be clear, and they found some blood in the system where there shouldn't be any blood, and I had to hold back, and they had to schedule an appointment for me to get this thing done to me, and through that they realized I didn't have cancer, but just to that one thing, I pushed everything back 1 month, and it was exactly a month before I saw surgery. So how can you not think? How can one not think that? How can one not think that their actions, even if it's not their fault, they had no control of it, one way or another, could have changed it? Liam and they were close, as you would expect a mom and son to be close, but they really were. They were very close, and I certainly feel my loss, but I can see his loss. I can see the gap, and I see that hole that is probably never going to be filled. And he's only a 9-year-old kid. And I can't really help him because I don't really know what that pain is like. I don't know what it's like to lose a mother. Definitely don't know what it's like to lose a mother at such a young age. I mean, she's going to be a ghost to him in a sense, probably. She's going to be this enigma. She's going to be a memory that's at one point faint, but at one point vivid. She's going to be an angel to him. She's going to be perfection to him. Because he didn't have the moment of growing older and seeing his mom as a human. He's only going to see her as his mother, as his beloved mom. And almost every night he tells me he misses his mom. Or he'll go to a picture and he'll kiss it. And he just stares at the picture. It's kind of hard to watch me. So I try to leave him alone and let him have his moment alone. I miss him too, though. I miss my buddy. I miss my best friend, my partner in every way. I miss my fellow joker who had this crazy comic timing. Who probably could have been a good stand-up comedian if she had honed it in. Who was utterly graceful and didn't know it. Who was impeccable, exquisite, beautiful, kind of unpredictable too. I actually couldn't believe I married her. Or I actually couldn't believe that she said she would marry me. More to the point. Because I'd always seen her, like in high school and all that, and I always liked her. But I never thought she would want to talk to me. We got to college. I went up to her. Almost got my ass beat. And I introduced myself. What a lot of people don't know is that when you have a speech impediment, one of the hardest things to say is your own name. Not now. But back then, sometimes it was, and I would avoid my name. Or what I would do a lot of times is tell, if I would go up to a girl to meet her, I would say, "How you doing? I have a speech impediment." And then I would start talking to her. Some people didn't like that. Or some girls didn't like that. But more times than not, they actually did. And it worked. But with her, I didn't do that. I just went up to her. I shook her hand. And I said, "I've always wanted to meet you. My name is Billy." And I said it without even trying. I knew before that, but that just kind of confirmed it. We were supposed to grow old together. We were supposed to be on the porch. And we were watching cars pass. And watching our grandchildren play in the yard. But graduate from high school and college. To be there and happy for him when he holds his first baby. You're supposed to be there for all that together. And I know she's gonna be there in spirit. She's gonna be there, and I'm sure I feel her, but she won't be physically beside me when all this is happening. Liam's gonna want to play football in the future, and if he's as good in that as he is in a lot of the other sports he's gonna be a pretty good football player. And if he plays defense or offense, if he catches his first interception or catches his first touchdown or sack a quarterback or give an awesome block, I don't know. I'm going to think of her when he crosses the stage to get his diploma, to get his degree, to get his master's, to get his doctorate. I'm going to think of her. When he gets married, I'm going to think of her. I'm going to wish that she was there. I was going to wish that she was next to me. I think I miss her more now than I did the moment I realized that she had passed away. Officially, it was 11 of 27, but the last bit of air in her body escaped her a little bit after that. And her body just sat there, motionless. Her lips partly open. And I knew she was gone. The doctor said it, but I knew she was gone right then. I knew she wasn't coming back. And the first thing I thought of was, what the hell am I going to do now? How am I going to raise a child alone without her here? How am I going to be both a mother and father to our child? What do I tell him? What do I tell my son? That his mom is gone. A year has passed almost, and surprisingly, life does go on. As cliche as it is to say, you put one foot in front of the other. It's horrible. I hate that freaking term, but it's so true. You put one foot in front of the other and you just walk. Some days I don't know what I'm doing. Most days I don't know what I'm doing. Some days my head is actually cut off and I'm running around like crazy. I have made grave mistakes. I have put my foot in my mouth with Liam a few times. I have apologized to my son endlessly. And yet somehow he looks up to me for guidance, which to me makes no sense whatsoever. I'm having attacks, anxiety attacks. I probably always had them, but I never knew it. I guess I have no idea, but I have them now, and I've learned to control them for the most part. But I take the medicine to help me out, but you have to convince yourself that you're okay, if that makes any sense. I am afraid to drink. I am afraid to do anything. I was hanging out with a few of my high school friends, and it was fun. And the whole time I felt guilty as hell because I wasn't with him. And I felt guilty not just because of that, also because I'm having fun. My wife may be in paradise, but she is not here with me, and I'm having fun. I should be taking care of my kid. They told me people who are dealing with what I'm starting to deal with in October on 28th at 11:27 in the morning. There is no textbook way to do anything. Whatever you need to do it. Because you got to get to the next step. You got to get yourself out of it. I never realized how much physical pain this is. Grief is really painful. It hurts. It wears you out. It tires you out. All you want to do is just stay in the bed and just cover your head. But of course you can't do that. You have a child to raise. You have a child who's looking to you for guidance. And even though all you want to do is just run away, you gotta stay there because he's staying there. I remember the next day after she died, I woke up and I hadn't slept that good in so long, and I felt so guilty and angry at myself because I slept. I had a really good night's sleep. The night my wife died, the night Jacques died, I had a really good sleep. And I felt like crap about it, man, because it made no sense. How dare you sleep when your wife died? How dare you be at peace when she's not here anymore? And I'm kind of about to go into a funk, and I could hear Liam walking down the hallway, and he's calling me. So I wiped my eyes a little bit, and I got out of bed. Liam said, Dad, Mom made his breakfast. Come on, let's eat. I followed him. I sat at my mother-in-law's island, and I ate eggs and bacon. Probably the best bacon and eggs I've ever had in a long time. And of course, it kind of reminded me of Jacques' favorite bacon. A little bit. They didn't make it quite the same way. Jacques would always put milk in her eggs, and she would scramble it up. She put salt, pepper, cayenne, and she would just stir it the whole time, constantly stirring it. When it was done, they were fluffy and light, just awesome. I told her I wasn't going to have a bacon and eggs anymore. I wasn't going to hear her jokes. I wasn't going to see that smile, a beautiful dimpled smile of hers. I wasn't going to see it anymore. Only in dreams, only in pictures, never in person. And I don't know if Liam wasn't thinking about it, or he was just in the moment, or he was literally trying to make me happy. I didn't listen. It's almost a year. It's almost 11 months actually. October is going to be a crazy month. As I said before, on the 21st is going to be our 25th anniversary. On the 19th, good Lord, what am I thinking? On the 19th is going to be our 25th anniversary. On the 21st is going to be Liam's 10th birthday. On the 23rd is going to be the 10th anniversary of our placement day. That's the day that we officially got Liam. He was 2 days old. And a week after that, and it will always be a week after that, on the 28th at 11:27, everything changed. Before I go, let me just say this one thing, and I'm probably going to offend some people, and I'm not saying this to offend people. I believe in God. I'm Catholic. But there have been times that I could have shoved a Bible up somebody's butt because some people, and they did almost like a grandstand on my issue. And then to make it worse, it's like they were talking to me to the point where they were saying that I didn't have faith, which I don't remember me complaining at all about not having any faith at all. I mean, first off, I don't blame God for this. I blame myself more than anybody, but I don't blame God. I blame the medical field for this also. I don't blame God. God is in everything. God is a part of it. God is everything. But people have their own will. And many of them can play God. And I think some of the people in the medical field played God with Jacques. And they made impromptu decisions. They saw a black woman and they assumed that she was a type 2 diabetic without checking to see if she was a type 1, which she actually was. They later saw a black woman and just assumed, well, she must have heart issues. Even though they checked the sonogram of her heart and saw that it was perfectly fine, there was nothing wrong with it, they still said she had congestive heart failure. And they gave her the wrong medicine. And whatever issue her kidneys had probably tore them apart and messed them almost inoperable after that medicine. And I clearly remember the people in the medical field in my grief also trying to, in their own little way, say that it wasn't their fault. Which angered the hell out of me. And if I had said something to them right at that moment, I probably would have slapped them or punched them or done something like that. I probably would have been put into jail. I have a son to take care of. I can't afford to lose control like that. There may be a little bit of anger still here. But in certain instances, there always probably will be. Because it was so unfair. A beautiful, beautiful swan was taken away from all of us. And the one thing I keep thinking is that I should have done more. Should have done more, and I am proud of what I've done with Jacques. I'm proud of the fact that I took care of her. But even in that pride, there's also regret, because I'm thinking you should have seen it coming. You should have seen when that moment's going to happen. You dumbass, why didn't you see it? And you saw her suffering. You saw her suffering. You saw her suffering. You couldn't do anything about it. And you should have. You should have done more. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to my son, to her parents, and to her family, and to my family, because they all loved her. And you know the worst thing about all of this is that she used to tell me, it's almost time to go get my son. She used to tell me sometimes, and she said, when something happens to me, it's nobody's gonna go to the funeral. Nobody cares. Like, what makes you think that people do care about you? And she would like, please. She would just say it just like that. She said, people got their own lives. They don't have time for me. And she died thinking that. She died thinking that. And I don't know if she saw her mass, her memorial, but if she had, she would have saw all the people there crying, sad, heartbroken because she's not here. And the funny thing about that is that when I saw the people, I sat down and I looked up at one of the pictures that I put up, and I said, you were wrong. And I kind of giggled to myself a little bit. It was a little inside joke between us, I guess. You know, the funny thing is, I told my brother that story, thinking that he was going to find it funny, and he started crying. You don't know how much you love someone until they're gone away. And please understand, there was not a moment I didn't tell her. There was not a moment I didn't say. Because I wanted her to feel it. I wanted her to see it and feel it. I wanted her to know that she's not alone. She may be suffering from this, but we were there with her. My son was with her the whole time. He took extra care of his mom. He was amazing. But when they're gone, they're gone. And it doesn't matter how many times you say you love them. It doesn't matter how many times you show them they're not there anymore. And they're gone. And you don't have them with you anymore. And it sucks. It sucks so bad. Because you miss them. I miss her so much. I knew I was going to miss her. But I had no idea how much I was going to miss her. And I miss her. Unbelievable. She was my swan. I called her my swan. She was graceful. Wouldn't take my crap. Genteel, sweet, gracious, unbelievably beautiful. But could stand her ground. And did everything with elegance and grace. What some people would call a bourgeois or a bougie. I used to love her remark to that. If you're saying that I'm bougie because I expect you to speak to me and not at me, if you think I'm bougie because I expect to be respected, and if you think I'm bougie because I like nice stuff, I'm bougie. I don't know why I just did this. Most of the time I always write stuff down and it helps out. And I have a speech impediment. Why the hell I want to talk to y'all? I don't know.